Everybody, Jake here, and with me today are my guests Dave and Richard. And shut up. I'm not going to refer to you as reference. So basically, this is just kind of an update on some of the movies we've seen and upcoming movies that we plan on seeing. So I guess we'll start with Days of Future Past, the most recent X-Men movie.
Maybe the best.
Yeah, probably the best.
Yeah.
I liked First Class a lot.
I'm actually kind of hoping after this we'll get more retcon movies instead of just reboots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think with the cast they have, or new cast rather.
You gotta love James
McAvoy.
Because they're all still pretty young, like James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender,
probably like in their early 30s.
Yeah, probably in their early 30s. Jennifer Lawrence, like our age,
24.
Yeah. So I mean, with the new cast, they can still do plenty of movies, and they can actually do it right. Because I did like the original, or not so much the third movie, X-Men movie. It was good when I first saw it, but
first two were all right.
Yeah,
they messed up. The characters.
I mean, I didn't have as much of a problem with the third one as a lot of people did because I really didn't give a shit about Cyclops.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was never a fan of the comics.
Yeah.
I just know them from.
I feel like it was still made during the era.
It was definitely
before the whole. I guess before Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was still made in the era where they were just kind of trying to make movies with these characters.
Yeah.
And looking to the source material.
Yeah.
Which I mean, yeah. Because I mean, they really had.
Because it was the whole Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Daredevil.
Yeah.
They were very toned down back then.
Type of era.
Yeah.
Where I mean, the first two Spider-Man.
Yeah, I liked them. Yeah.
Third one was a mess.
Yeah.
I loved it as a kid just because it was.
Yeah.
It's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Going back and watching that movie
it was terrible.
Mess.
I will say, and the nostalgia critic said this, and I agree and disagree with him on a lot of things, but his thoughts about
We're coming to beat you, buddy.
He said that the third movie did a lot of things wrong, but what it did right, it really did right.
Mm-hmm.
He said there were 3 moments. He always says this. There were 3 moments in that movie where the audience would audibly gasp.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens, you are doing something right.
Yeah.
But then they just did so much else wrong with that movie.
Yeah, definitely.
But X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past. Back to the point. Was phenomenal. The way they brought the original cast and new cast together and basically voided out.
A lot better than I ever would have imagined.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And again, the way they voided out the first 3 without doing a complete reboot and being like, okay, yeah, we screwed up, let's just reboot it.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple plot holes, but you can kind of forgive it.
Yeah.
There was so much.
I think they more just voided out.
On.
I think they just voided out the third movie.
Yeah, more.
And maybe the ending of the second one.
Yeah. Which, I think that's the main thing you did need to really void out.
It's also sort of surprised such big actors would come back for
tiny
barely any lines or anything.
Well, Halle Berry had more of a part in it, but she was pregnant, and they kind of
Anna Paquin came back to hold hands with.
I think she had another scene, but they cut it out of the movie.
Yeah.
James Marsden, I was kind of surprised. I thought he hated being in those movies.
Yeah.
James Marsden came back.
Yeah. I really liked Quicksilver.
Yeah.
I
found him a tad bit annoying.
I didn't.
It didn't ruin anything, but I just found him a little annoying.
I didn't find him annoying.
Didn't really affect my opinion on the movie at large, but hoping
I thought he added to
Aaron Taylor Johnson will do a better job in Avengers.
I don't know. But actually, that's kind of a worrisome thing for me because I liked Quicksilver in this one.
I was never really that attached to the character in
general, I wasn't either, but
I'm open to interpretation.
I don't know much about the character at all outside of that movie, but
he's quite fast.
Well, thank you, Jake.
I'm aware of this.
Yeah,
that's the
I know that he's fast and he's Magneto's son.
However, he is not silver.
His hair was.
Oh well.
He did have he had that silver hair, and in this one he won't in the Avengers because it's kick-ass.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he didn't at the end of Captain America too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was just you kind of barely see them.
Yeah, but you see his hair.
They can explain it well.
I mean, you see him run around in his little cage thing, and he's got brown hair.
Well, who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
In the movie, they might explain that. Or
maybe Ultron will just zap him with the thing that turns his hair white.
Yeah,
I've seen stupider reasons in movies for cosmetic changes.
Yeah. But then or at least me and Dave, we saw 22 Jump Street, which I thought was just as good as the first one.
Hilarious, yeah.
Which I think that's kind of really your main goal, especially for comedies.
I don't know if I'd say better, but
just as good.
Yeah, just as good for sure.
As far as comedies goes, I did see Tammy.
Tammy.
Yeah, you didn't even know it existed.
Not really interested in it. All I knew was Pete from The League.
Oh yeah, Pete from The League.
If you're
is
not
in
watching
it.
that show, check it out.
McCarthy, what's her name?
Uh,
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah. Okay.
The fat woman from the Heat and stuff.
I think I know what movie you're talking about.
I only went to see that because my mom is named Tammy, and she wanted. It's not funny unless you know someone named Tammy who's kind of like that.
It's a very limited market.
It is a very limited market. No one else will think it's funny.
And Susan Sarandon's in it for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess,
She has a higher reputation than something like that, but aren't as many roles for older women in Hollywood, unfortunately.
And
she's super old.
We saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, too.
Yep, very,
powerful
exceeded
movie.
all my expectations. I felt it would be about as good as Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I would have to say, of the movies I've seen...
Definitely blew it away,
Of the movies I've seen this year, I would have to say Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is just the most well-made, coherent, single movie I've seen.
Really haven't seen that many movies.
I've seen a few, but
I have yet to see it, but I do look forward to seeing it after.
And I mean, it's in a completely different category than any of the Marvel movies, which really they're in a category all their own.
Yeah.
Well, no matter how good they are themselves, they're a part of a bigger thing.
Yeah.
But this one, I just felt like it was the most entirely, thoroughly well-made single movie that I've seen.
Excellent.
Right. I guess speaking of Marvel movies, it's a nice segue to what we're we're all looking forward to.
Guardians
of the Galaxy.
That's going to be incredible.
Pretty soon.
Which, I do think it will be good. I just, I'm not really, I guess I'm not sure what to expect because I don't really know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think that's the thing. Well, I mean, I like, just based on, even the very first trailer.
Oh, yeah, the trailer, yeah.
They're not taking themselves seriously at all because they realize nobody knows.
Yeah, they're just having fun.
I mean, even people that read comics are like, who are these guys?
Yeah. They're just kind of an obscure little,
I like that they're not taking themselves.
Yeah, they've actually got a talking raccoon.
More recent trailers have seemed a bit more.
Yeah, it seems like they're gonna have that, but it's
action comedy.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a lighthearted, fun adventure, and it's got a talking raccoon
and a tree guy.
Yeah,
played by Vin Diesel, which I'm not too thrilled about, but
he actually does only say "I am Groot." That's been confirmed. And that's all he says.
About
in the
Vin
comics.
Diesel's acting range, so
yeah.
Well, from what I've read, he actually took it pretty seriously. He would actually, for every different recording,
he's actually kind of nerdy.
Yeah, for every different.
apparently he played Dungeons and Dragons with Dame Judi Dench on the set of Chronicles of Riddick.
But
for all you ladies who are like, oh no, I want that guy. Yeah, he's a nerd. So.
He's gay too.
Is he?
Heavily rumored. I don't think it's ever really been confirmed.
I think it's been confirmed Vin Diesel's pretty gay.
I've been hearing that for a long time, but I've never really heard a definite yes or no.
From what I heard of it, he actually, for every line of the script, which is all just "I am Groot," he would actually ask, "What am I saying?" I mean, of course he's saying "I am Groot," but he'd be yeah, and he would ask that for every line. So apparently.
I guess that's good.
I can appreciate the care going into
it. Yeah. Rather than just be like, oh, this is an easy paycheck.
I'm Groot. I'm Groot.
Exactly.
Chris Pratt from
Parks and Rec, which is probably one of the best sitcoms out there.
Certainly for especially NBC. A network sitcom.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best.
Oh yeah.
He was Emmett, right?
Yeah. Also, he was Emmett. He's getting big. He's going to be in Jurassic Park 4.
Really?
They're making Jurassic Park 4?
Yeah, that's been confirmed. I don't know what the storyline...
seems to be taking forever, but he's going to be in it.
Yeah, because
he's getting pretty big.
There's been a lot of rumors about what Jurassic Park 4 is going to be about, which...
I'm pretty sure he's confirmed on the cast. I don't know if Jeff Goldblum's coming back or not.
I hope so. I like Jeff Goldblum.
I hadn't really heard anything.
Sounded like for the longest time, a lot of people were like, oh no, Jurassic Park 4, the entire original cast, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, they're all going to be in it.
I've been hearing a couple.
But I've also heard some stuff.
The only one I can really remember is Chris Pratt.
I'll give Jurassic Park 4 the same prognosis I gave The Amazing Spidey 2 and Transformers 4 going in, is that if it's better than the worst of the franchise, I can dig it.
Which, the third was the worst.
Yeah, and Transformers 4...
It's a guilty pleasure for me.
Really I liked it. I mean, they could have trimmed a good hour off that movie. Gotten rid of had maybe even half the cast, and it would have helped the movie. But I liked it overall. I mean,
they did take out a lot of the. They took out a whole lot of the annoying shit from the last three. Like the comic. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it. Like, I kind of... I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, I'll see it if I had the chance, but...
You want to have almost 3 hours to kill.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's about 3
Like, it looked cool, but not one of those movies where I'm like, oh my god, yes!
If the dinosaurs were in it more, that was kind of my main complaint. It's honestly why I went to see it. I wasn't even going to go see it, and I saw that.
A whole lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I really like seeing Optimus Prime out for blood.
Oh, yeah. It felt like he had more purpose.
Yeah. I felt like for the first time he was a character. Yeah. Not just like a big walking speakerphone for philosophical speeches that would occasionally rip a guy's face off.
Yeah. I mean,
and say, give me your face while he... That happened.
Awesome.
In the second movie it was...
Okay, yeah.
He ripped the Fallen's face off and said, give me your face.
Yeah. That is kind of the downside, though, to a lot of, like, the... like, heroes and a lot of... franchises like that, they're just really one-sided.
They
which
sort of corny.
I get that, they in a way they kind of have to be, but like I don't know, like
we're kind of past that age of we need multi-dimensional characters even in sort of franchises where you don't you don't expect that from a Transformers movie, but it would be nice if it was there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that like I just absolutely love about Game of Thrones is how no characters like, there are some characters that are kind of one-sided, like Joffrey's just,
the best character.
Yeah. But like,
speaking of, and sort of related to what's going on, but
it is a movie.
Khal Drogo is highly rumored to be playing Aquaman.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Batman vs Superman.
So they're actually putting Aquaman in that movie?
Which is a terrible name.
They're actually putting Aquaman in that movie?
Heavily rumored. It seems like most of the Justice League is going to show up.
I do feel like...
I don't know. I don't really see the need for this prequel.
I mean, do we really need to see Batman and Superman with all of the Justice League as secondary characters?
And then Justice League?
Yeah.
Again, there's that whole if Superman can do what he did in Man of Steel by himself, why did was enough of a threat.
We actually covered this in a previous podcast.
Sort of a continuation of that.
Yeah.
And
it would have to be Darkseid.
I know Zack Snyder said that he's considering writing Arrow from the show Arrow into Justice League, which I assume...
I could get into that.
If this Flash spinoff show... does the same thing, because I've seen like a rumored list of the movies they want to do. They want to do like a Flash Green Lantern movie. I'm assuming that list is real, because the actual Man of Steel 2 wouldn't come out till like 2018 or something.
Wow.
According to that list, though, hopefully no, single Batflick movies.
Yeah. No. I mean,
doesn't look like there's any plans for that.
Which I think is good. They need to just.
I can put up with him in the context of Justice League,
especially if we don't see him out of the costume too much as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Because I could see really anyone being Batman if you're muscular enough and you got the jawline. You just gotta growl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he won't be horrible or anything, but it won't be.
It just won't. It won't bring anything to the character. It'll just be kind of. I guess they'll just to make that good, they'd have to make it spotlight on Superman more than Batman.
Yeah. I agree.
So this is what it's like to be the sidekick.
But yeah, like this, I think this year is going to be really good with movies.
Okay. Let's address. I know Richard has an issue with.
Oh yeah.
Regarding Sin City 2, which the long-awaited sequel.
I did like Sin City.
The first movie.
I did too.
I thought it was great.
Really looking forward to Sin City 2.
Recent discoveries about Frank Miller have made me not want to give him my money.
Do tell.
You heard of a graphic novel he did called Holy Terror?
I have not.
When was that? By the way?
It was in 2011.
So fairly recently.
I felt like it was recent.
I mean, this would have been acceptable if it was made like 8 to 10 years beforehand. Yeah. It'd still be kind of bad, but
I know what you're gonna say. So
the original goal with this, with Holy Terror, was to be a Batman story,
right?
That was kind of a parody satire of like those 50s comics where we have Captain America beat up Hitler and stuff.
Yeah.
was going to do it with Al Qaeda, but Frank Miller was in charge of it, and when he does Batman shit, he gets really like.
I feel like that guy's the most.
He can do
some amazing stuff.
He did good. I liked Batman Year One and The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah,
but then The Dark Knight Strikes Again was just bad. This is like full blown crazy. Like he started writing it as a Batman story, and then halfway through it, he was like
Batman and Robin All Star Wonder.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh yeah. Asbar. Yeah. He started writing this and just decided this isn't a Batman story, so he changed all the characters slightly.
Yeah.
He just took the ears off of Batman and Catwoman and renamed them The Fixer and Natalie something, aka Cat Burglar.
Huh.
And it's basically 100 or so pages of Frank Miller's art style at its worst, telling the reader that all Muslims are terrorists.
Ah. Sounds like a lovely read.
Racist and poorly drawn.
It's racist, poorly drawn, poorly written.
I don't know how much that would really affect.
It's hard. It's just.
Co-directing a movie.
Yeah, but it's just like seeing that. I don't want to give him my money.
Understandable.
But it was. And
I'm still gonna go see it.
I'll probably end up seeing it eventually, but.
Yeah, and maybe not in theaters.
Yeah, it's. And I don't get on a big soapbox about racism and blah blah.
Yeah.
But this is just like.
I can understand.
Do I want to give the person that created this money?
Yeah. Understandable.
Of course, spoiler alert. If you plan to read Holy Terror by Frank Miller,
Stop.
I haven't even read it. I just watched a Link Horror review, but it was like his 300th episode. He pretty much read every page, but it ends with them discovering that there is an ancient city underneath Empire City, which is not Gotham.
Totally not.
That's been completely populated by terrorists. And by terrorists, I mean Muslims.
Seems
which the two terms are interchangeable in this story.
Context.
And it ends with the Fixer, who's not Batman, crawling down. He tortures a guy first to discover where it is by breaking his back, like hanging him from each limb and then jumping on his back, breaking his back, kills the guy by blowing him up because all terrorists have a bomb strapped to him and he set off that bomb. But then he just discovers this underground city thing and like lets this toxin fly that just makes all of them puke up their organs.
Yeah,
who doesn't have that line?
Yeah, and then it just it ends with not Commissioner Gordon waking up in jail because he had been collaborating with the terrorists for some reason, and just saying like waking
Can't
up.
believe Gary Oldman would do that.
Waking up from a nightmare and just being like, so that's why they call it terror. So that's my rant on Frank Miller's Holy Terror.
That does just seem like a god-awful mess.
Yeah, that's why I'm probably not going to see Sin City 2 in theaters.
Yeah, I really want to see it.
I might get it at Redbox.
See, I think all the old cast is coming back.
Yeah.
Good new additions. They made a character just for Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, nice.
I don't know how that really be, but
it's obviously going to be Robin.
Yeah,
he's going to tie into The Dark Knight.
Yeah. I hope so.
And his name will be Robin, not Terry McGinnis, like it should have been. Yeah. Like it really should have been.
It really.
It's a whole other issue.
I would have enjoyed the Dark.
We've gotten off topic enough.
I would have actually thoroughly enjoyed The Dark Knight Rises if they had just named him Terry McGinnis. And I'm not usually the kind to let one little thing ruin a movie for me.
Oh, I am.
But that did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of on the fence about it to begin with, but if
I thought it was a fitting. Into the trilogy.
I think it could have gone without being made.
Well, I don't think we were gonna get a better movie.
No, not with Heath Ledger dead.
Yeah,
but I don't.
I mean, even with or without Heath Ledger, I think those are probably the best Batman movies we could have hoped for.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because then, like, I think.
I mean, granted, of course, it wasn't as good as The Dark Knight.
No, it was not. I mean,
it was incredible.
I don't hate it. I wouldn't watch it on its own.
I don't realistically see it, have gotten a better or probably will get a better Batman movie.
Yeah.
Or superhero movies in general.
Yeah, because, I mean, I think the beauty of the Dark Knight trilogy is the fact that it didn't really feel like a superhero movie, really even a Batman movie.
It's kind of universal.
Yeah.
It was like your here's your story, and Batman just happens to be like the lead actor.
Yeah.
And I think that's
not just comic people, not just
and it was
20-somethings, but
and I think like
all age groups and
like one of Nolan's goals and with the Dark Knight trilogy was he wanted to make it believable.
I think it may have helped too. Nolan wasn't even really like a comic fan. I know the writer was.
I am actually
heard interviews with him and like when I think it was for Man of Steel, and he was talking, Chris isn't really like a comic guy, so he'd always kind of come to me and be like, what can we get away with? It's still believable for this character.
I'm kind of starting to. I mean, I like Christopher Nolan, but I'm starting to kind of get tired of his directing style.
He didn't direct Man of Steel. Or
no,
he's just a producer.
I feel like there was a lot of his influence in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It kind of like
it's still very much a Zack Snyder.
I mean, I did like Man of Steel, but
I thought it was everything Superman needed to be.
I think this proportionally. I get people's issues character wise, but I think
my thing about
on the scale that it was, I'm not gonna let you talk.
My thing about Man of Steel was it was just kind of going back to it. You kind of notice it's very Nolan dialogue. Like, every line of dialogue is telling you how important what I'm saying is. And that's fine, but it's like every line of dialogue by Christopher Nolan that he's involved with seems to be like that.
Yeah.
That's my only problem. That's really my only problem with Man of Steel. I don't
David
care.
S. Goyer, that's the guy?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was trying to think of his name, but I was drawing blanks.
I don't care that he snapped Zod's neck. I mean, a lot of people did have a problem. I thought that was
awesome.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was
harkening back to
real character.
Yeah, harkening back to Optimus Prime being
I like
blood. I like seeing
not black and white.
Yeah. I like the use of harken. I'm going to throw that out there. How many people use that word?
Harkening back to
Superman is a very black and white character. I like that they added some gray in there. It's more realistic.
A lot of people, a few people have said that Transformers 4 is basically what Michael Bay decided to make after seeing Man of Steel.
Yeah,
and I can get that. I get that because it was basically
a little bit. Yeah,
it was that people say, well, he made Superman a bloodthirsty killer, which he. Really
how is he bloodthirsty?
But
again, it's just like I do think that's really annoying when people are like, he killed a guy. Oh, you want him to like let him live, and then Zod kills everybody?
Even if he didn't kill him, then what was he gonna do?
Eventually, it had to happen.
I mean, Zod was actually he had nothing left. He was trying to die. Really, that was more or less.
So these are kind of the issues that makes. A better character anyway.
Yeah, he had no
better, more complex.
Yeah, like I'd say of like almost any hero, regardless of the a superhero or just a hero.
They're going to have to kill someone.
Yeah, but like Superman is basically your storybook.
Superman is kind of silly, and
they even Batman calls him Boy Scout.
His name is Superman.
Yeah,
he was the first.
Look at his outfit.
Yeah, which they did make less campy for Man of Steel and New 52.
Yeah.
I like the idea
that
I like the idea of them taking that kind of black and white, basic heroic type character and just pushing them to the limit where they
have to
they have to resort to that kind of stuff. Which I think Michael Bay tried to do with Optimus Prime, and a lot of people just saw it coming off as him being a psycho, and I do see that, but I thought it was cool.
So I'm not sure what to expect
from
the.
I don't really know what people's expectations for the Transformers movie.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
we've had 3 of these before. Do you really think it's?
Yeah, I do think this is the best one.
But kind of leading in with like Michael Bay, I'm kind of like skeptical with like
talk about Ninja Turtles now?
Yes. Okay.
An upcoming movie.
Ninja Turtles was very near and dear to my heart as a kid.
I was admittedly not that big into it, so I don't have a whole lot.
I feel like I'm sort of in the middle.
I'm not blind.
I liked it, but I wasn't like crazy about it.
I'm not blinded by nostalgia goggles. I mean, I kind of think the '90s cartoons a little goofy for me.
Well, yeah, but like
it's kind of part of it.
That was kind of like the Eden Pizza and like Cowabunga and just the lingo in general.
Honestly, I feel like it doesn't really translate to the screen that well.
No, it doesn't.
None of that would translate into today because they're so 90s.
Yeah.
Like, their personalities are very dead set 90s stereotypes.
Yeah. Or like, late 80s. Because like, late 80s, early 90s is kind of that same very montage-y.
Surfer,
Yeah, because I mean like the live action Ninja Turtle movies they did released were real early 90s, like, yeah, I think, like, maybe 90, 91 or something like that.
Like, guys in suits and stuff.
Yeah, but, like, even, like, they always had a montage in all the movies, and it was just so 80s to have, montages. I mean, there were still montages in the 90s, but I think that was kind of when it's fading out. Because I feel like that's when movie quality was really improving. Like, people were like, okay, we can't just have, like, a fun movie. Like, we need to, like, have character development.
Michael Bay said, no, you can.
If he has any sort of legacy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
and then he made Armageddon, which is so bad.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. But
I was as a kid, but I've always liked space shuttles and shit.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. I'm kind of, like, divided. I don't know. Like, one part of me does want to see, like, kind of a grittier Ninja Turtles, but at the same time...
It still looks to be kind of an action comedy, though.
Yeah. Will Arnett.
Yeah, well, I'll go see it because Will Arnett. I mean, that was my, like, selling point. I was like, I don't really care about this.
They're not magic tricks, Dad. They're illusions.
Has to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're not aliens. They're turtles. Come on.
No, he was the one saying, like, so wait, they're aliens? And Megan Fox was like, no, they're turtles.
That's another thing. Why are they aliens?
They're not.
Well, no,
yeah, like, I did like that they addressed that.
Yeah, they're not aliens.
The very, like, early...
Because, like, I don't, like, yeah, I'll be honest. Like, if they had made them aliens, I would have been very upset.
And here's the thing people do not get. Michael Bay is the producer.
Yeah.
He's not the director.
Still, the trailer is...
It's very Michael...
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a Michael Bay movie, but...
Pretty much.
He is not the director.
Who is the director?
I don't know, but it's not Michael Bay.
I don't know who the
I
director
knew that much, but the trailer is just not enough.
I don't even think they just show... They say produced by Michael Bay. They don't even say the director's name.
Yeah, because nobody probably knows who he is.
Yeah.
But I know it's not Michael Bay.
Yeah.
And I really don't care about Megan Fox one way or the other. I don't really... Like, I don't have much of investment in the franchise, so I won't feel bad that she's ruining a character or whatever.
But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like putting my 2 cents in there for like.
Yeah, it's an upcoming.
One thing a lot of people complain about is the way they look.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it's probably the
weird,
best.
But I can let it.
Yeah.
How else are they gonna really?
Yeah, I don't see it.
Do that.
That was kind of.
Would they really just recreate the '90s costumes?
Yes, Richard. They have to have dudes in suits. That look so cheap.
I mean,
and they have to say cowabunga and all the 90s
they'll still
stuff.
say cowabunga.
Yeah, they have to at least once, even if it is just like as a throwback.
They will. I'm sure. I think I've never seen the newer cartoon that's on Nickelodeon, but
I've seen bits and pieces with like my nephew. It is more traditional to like the style of Ninja Turtles.
Astin.
It's got to be better than Ultimate Spider-Man.
Samwise Gamgee of Lord of the Rings fame. Richard, you need to watch those movies.
Yeah, seriously, what the hell's wrong with you?
It's so easy. Speaking of upcoming movies, the third Hobbit. You need to go ahead and just watch the first 2 Hobbits. Watch the third one when it comes in theaters. Then Lord of the Rings. Yeah. I feel like the problem with these Hobbit... Granted, I like them, but...
Yeah. I keep hearing that they really shouldn't have been 3 movies.
Well, yeah, for sure. But maybe 2, you could really do it. Yeah. I feel like it's too much trying to capitalize on the fact that it's associated with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I agree.
Though, I mean, it's kind of cool to see behind the scenes of, like, how Gandalf, gets all his information.
Yeah.
But it's just too much foreshadowing for the sake of just connecting to the other movie.
I feel like,
also, probably to, kill a lot of time. So they can make it 3 movies, but still.
Yeah, that seems to be...
Again, I like them, but that's kind of my major complaint.
I agree.
So...
It won't let it be its own thing, because The Hobbit is very much... It's separate from Lord of the Rings.
I do know of The Hobbit. I saw like an animated movie, and I saw a play of it when I lived in Danville. I mean, it was a fun little thing.
It was The Hobbit.
It was Lord of the Rings was epic. And huge.
This huge scale of whereas The Hobbit was just a fun little adventure. So meant for his kids.
So speaking of
it was very much a children's book when it came out.
Book movies, I'm actually looking forward to The Giver.
I have mixed feelings. I don't.
I did like the book.
Though Ian from Shameless, anyone who watches Shameless out there,
I don't. But
is in it. So
Jeff
that's
Bridges.
Cool. Yeah. So there are 2 actors out.
There are 2 actors in this movie. Yeah.
Which, oddly enough, like Jeff Bridges does look exactly like the guy in the cover of the book. Yeah, he does. It's almost like they were just like, we have to get Jeff Bridges. We have to.
They were
I didn't know Jeff Bridges was in it until I saw that trailer.
They were gonna have his dad be the giver, but then he got just too old or sick or something, and they were just like, well, Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges' dad is still alive?
He might not be. Maybe that's why they recast Jeff Bridges as the giver.
Yeah, I forget what his dad's.
But
because there's brother Bo Bridges. Who's the senior?
I don't know. But I do.
Feel free to comment.
Who is Jeff Bridges' dad?
But Wikipedia this immediately.
Yeah.
Because we're too.
By the time you, viewer, have commented.
Viewer, that's realistic.
Yeah. We'll have already looked it up or just forgotten about it. But
I will have forgotten about it, I guarantee you.
But
I mean, no effort into it whatsoever.
I liked the book. I'll give the movie a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I like the book, but
yeah, I read it in like middle school.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a bit too teen franchisey.
Maybe I think not even a problem, but like, oh, that's weird. Thought about it looks more futuristic than I always imagined the book being.
That's true.
I mean, it is. The book is set, far in the future and stuff, but they never really make any indication that it looks
like sophisticated. Like I guess you're anytime you think of like a futuristic movie, looks, like cover cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, it does. It looks like
sort of like how it
stylistically
in black and white.
Yeah, which is
as he learns. Which is true to the
yeah. Although they didn't tell you that.
Yeah,
which you can't really translate that to film at all.
Yeah. That is true.
Stylistically, it kind of resembles the new Star Treks, which I don't have a problem with. It just kind of caught me off guard, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, I might go see it, but I don't know. Just here lately, there haven't been a whole lot of like real good movies that have captivated me. And aside from like the superhero movies and like maybe a couple other movies,
you really need to see Planet of the Apes.
I do really need to see that.
I would say it's the closest I've come since Prisoners, which is really good.
Yeah, Prisoners was pretty good. It was
took me by surprise.
It helped me wean off of Breaking Bad.
It was a pretty intense movie.
It was
good old Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Paul Dano. I just saw the movie There Will Be Blood with
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Came out in like 2007. Couldn't get into it,
but Prisoners had
it was just way too long.
Hugh Jackman starring as Walter White with hair, basically.
At a time. But yeah, Paul Dano was very good in both of those movies. And of course, Daniel Day-Lewis was good. I mean,
it's such a terrible actor.
It's what you expect.
What? Why is he not in the sci-fi movies? He's so bad.
Speaking of Sharknado 2.
Yes! That's another upcoming
April
movie.
30th, July 30th.
Yes.
This month, kiddies.
Yeah.
If you all have not seen the first one, you are doing something wrong with your life.
You probably don't need to see the second
Probably
one.
not.
You do.
This is going to be set in New York.
Except the fact that the people aren't as shocked this time, but they're not good enough actors.
No, but if you don't see the first one, you won't know what's going on. You won't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's a very sophisticated, elaborate plot.
Yeah,
there are somewhat more famous people in this movie.
Like Andy Dick.
Andy Dick, Mark McGrath.
Al Roker and Tom Brokaw.
See, all these A-lister actors are gonna
honestly
be in this
was probably the worst actress in the movie.
Really
plus, I feel like the main guy wasn't.
They really laid
bad.
into Tara Reid at the riff tracks. They were.
Sure, she was awful.
Like the scene when they're in the liquor store, and she was looking through the medicine. They were like, Pepto-Bismol, is this a good mixer?
Yeah, she's awful.
Yeah, and then like when he shouted back to her, only bring the essentials, and she was just picking up stuff. They were like going like bronzer, more bronzer.
Yeah.
Such a quality movie.
And then her most actiony scene in the whole movie when she kicks the tray with the chainsaw towards the guy.
Yeah.
That's like that's the most actiony scene she gets.
Yeah.
They were just like, "Welcome to Paradise, bitches."
But yeah, like if you haven't seen the movie, chainsaws. I'll leave it at that. Just chainsaws
and
sharks
in a tornado.
And a tornado. Yeah.
I would also recommend Ghost Shark.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as good, but it's just completely ridiculous because
that's the beauty of those movies.
Yeah. It's like
it captured our hearts.
Spoiler alert: Ghost Shark has a shark that is a ghost.
What?
I thought it would have been a ghost that was a shark.
Nope, it's a dead shark.
Wow, and I never would have guessed that one.
And it can appear anywhere that there's water.
What?
So like you get swimming pools, bathtubs.
See, I thought you were gonna say anywhere, just anywhere, because that would be legitimately scary.
Yeah, that would be
anywhere there's water.
Basically, it's a normal shark.
But Two of my favorite scenes. One, there's a kid going down a slip and slide, and it's got this like inflatable, shark jaws that you slide through.
Yeah.
And of course, the slip and slide has water.
Yeah,
so when the kid gets right to that part, the ghost shark just comes up and swallows him whole.
Take that, little kid.
And two, this guy's in an office, and he pours him some water in that water cooler, and the cup of water is glowing. The traditional
water cooler.
Yeah, and the cup of water is all glowing.
I'll drink this.
So yeah, he drinks it, and the ghost shark just bursts out of him, and he splits in half.
Death by water cooler. Come on, people. What other movies have done this?
Probably why we don't have to have water coolers anymore.
Yeah.
Because of the ghost shark.
It's an epidemic.
And of course, bathtubs and swimming pools,
Yeah.
One part of the house gets flooded, just like in Sharknado.
Well, yeah. How it gets flooded, you don't have to apply logic. It makes more sense if you don't think about it. But I think we're going to end this podcast on that note. A good note to end on, if I do say so myself. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and until next time, everybody, cheers.
And if you didn't enjoy it, well,
you can just go straight to hell.
Completely wasted you. If you've listened to this point,
I choose not to absolve you of your sins if you didn't enjoy it, because I have the authority to do that.
You're an ass.
I really do.
Speaking of, if you're not our one fan who doesn't know that Richard has recently become an ordained minister through the Universal Life Church online.
I'm
online.
Jake refuses to.
I got legal documents and everything. I'm also known as Reverend Spaceman. Not associated with Scientology at all.
Thank God.
You do want to make that distinction.
Yeah. People, don't want people to think you're a crazy person or anything.
No, I'm working on a religion based on Gundam.
Yeah, that's...
To be continued.
Yeah, it's a good place to end this.